right. Good morning if you are from where I am, and good afternoon if you're where from my guest is. This is Sober Heathen Podcast. We're live Sunday morning. We're going to talk today. This is a recovery podcast, but a huge part of recovery is your mental health. And today that is going to be the focus. I know for men especially, it's really hard to ask for help. And I know for everybody, it can be very difficult to find a place to get that mental health. And the guest today is somebody who is doing things to try to make that easier for people to find. And without me trying to explain what he does, I'll bring my guest Leo on. Leo, good afternoon, sir. Thanks for coming on the podcast.
Yeah, thanks for having me, Scott. It's a pleasure to talking to you about my attempts to help people that struggle with addiction and recovery. So yeah, I mean, you've introduced me a little. So I'm a 30-year-old mental health entrepreneur from Germany, and I just started my journey like 6 months ago because I was diagnosed with ADHD at the age of 29, and I felt like disadvantaged in a system and society, and therefore I really felt like I needed to make a change. So in the beginning, I wanted to become a psychotherapist because I'm studying psychology, but then I figured, okay, I just want to do more. I want to help more people. I want to reach more people. I want to build something scalable in the psychotherapy sphere, and yeah, which is why I started Beyond You. And right now we have built an app through which people can book services, which will be launching soon in March. And additionally to that, we are looking into data analytics to advance research and AI development. And one of our use cases specifically also is addiction recovery. So it's about having like a virtual counselor to talk to. So the last 2 points I mentioned are just roadmap. On the roadmap itself, the app will be launching soon, and yeah, we hope to be able to provide a lot of value worldwide. It's a global mental health care ecosystem. So this is our attempt to help people.
Well, what great timing. Stuff's beginning to roll out in March. That's fantastic.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, yeah. So as I mentioned a little bit, in the beginning, it's not very easy to always find mental health care. As speaking for myself, I just found a new counselor the other day, and there is an issue with my insurance, either on their end or my end. My end seems to be fine. But I got a bill that rolled in for $360 for a 1-hour visit. And it was like, holy crap. So talk a little bit more about what the app will do for people to help them find people. The AI is interesting. Let's talk about that separately, but a little bit of what you plan to do with the app.
Yeah, definitely. I mean, we plan to build we've already built an app that will be launching soon, and through that app, people can book mental health services, so psychiatrists, psychotherapists, coaches, yoga, meditation teachers, so anyone really that can help with bettering one's mental health. And as you said, it's not really affordable to be paying a counselor these days if you are paying it on your own. And this is just largely due to the fact that there are too few therapists. So we try to tackle this problem from a few different angles. First of all, we want to make it more affordable in first world countries by counselors from third world countries offering services. And it has a lot to do with regulation and lobbying in a positive sense within politics. But yeah, I mean, overall, there are some cultural differences when you talk about mental health, but overall, like the treatment approaches are somewhat similar. So it's already happening, and I see this on a global, larger scale as a vision for the future. That someone, for example, from Nigeria, where they have very good English speaking, very educated people giving online therapy to someone in the US, and we can be offering that at a much cheaper rate and still high quality care, because we are ensuring the quality of the therapist on our platform. So this is one attempt how we are going to make it more affordable in for people in the first world. And obviously we also have the other way around, but I don't want to go too overboard. This is just one attempt how we can better the situation in the first world. Yeah.
Oh, that's given opportunities to everybody, opportunities for people to provide the service and opportunities for people to get the service. So that's fantastic. I mean, mental health is mental health. I know that we can get shoehorned into, like, our environment and think that things are, this is, I know for me with my mental health, it's like, I'm the only one going through this. Why is this happening to me? But this is a worldwide thing. Mental health is, it's everywhere. It affects everybody. Not exactly the same, but everybody feels that same way. Like, it's happening to me. And when it's, I know for me, especially in addiction, when I would reach out and ask for help, and it's like, yeah, we can't get you in for a month and a half. Yeah, we don't accept your insurance. Oh my gosh. It was just way easier just to say, all right, screw it. I'm not even going to try this. I'm just going to go back to the bottle, because that is going to make me feel like it's helping me right now. Right.
Yeah, definitely. I mean, you're talking about a very good point there, that the system itself is not really established in order to help people that struggle with addiction or with other mental health issues. And I think this largely comes down to mental health issues being destigmatized. So, I mean, with physical health, a lot of people don't have any trouble to say, oh, this person has severe illnesses in that regard. But with addiction, it's like, I think anyone that does not work in the mental health care field does not really understand that addiction is a disease and a coping mechanism, and that is not something that people with a lacking willpower just choose to do. So it's also a lot about destigmatizing mental health in order to better the conditions of mental health care services. And this is something that I'm also passionate about and really looking forward, because it's about talking openly about it, sharing it, not being vague about it. I feel like in the past, a lot of people, especially with addiction, people used to say not, oh, he's addicted to XYZ. It's just like some random made up description, like, or he likes to have a drink once in a while, something like that, and you say it with like not very openly. And I think it should obviously change, and therefore at Beyond You we are also looking to build a community where people can just have a safe space and sharing their mental health struggles, because a lot of people are just being discriminated against for their mental health struggles, and I want that to change.
Yeah, it's really crazy, and I try to speak about my experience the most because that's what I know the most. And there are people out there that will look at this guy as just a drunk, because that's all they've seen me, right? But then there's people that have went through this journey with me, walked this path with me, and they look at a guy that's not a bad guy. He just made some bad choices, and he had some mental health issues, and he was going through an addiction. And I think that stigma that you talk about, it's really easy for people that have never experienced it to sit on the side of the road and, oh my goodness, look at that drunk. Well, you don't know what happened. You don't know what brought this. And it is a coping mechanism. I believe that 100%. To find that drug that gives you peace. I think the big book says it really well when it says ease and comfort, because that's what we're looking for. We're looking for ease and comfort. That's why we have that blanket. That's why we have that couch. That's why we have the cooling systems and stuff. We're looking for that instant ease and comfort.
Yeah, definitely. Like instant ease and comfort, and way to relieve one's emotions. And I mean, for some people it's understandable, because it's tough to find other ways of relieving one's emotions. After all, that's just one facet as to why someone could get addicted. But after all, it's important not to be judging about it, and just giving people, I guess, a new mode of expression. I like to I like, for example, Grant Cardone very much. He's like the most influential, the biggest sales trainer worldwide, and I was following him for quite a bit, and he said that he has been addicted and going into rehab back and forth, and like basically he beat his addiction by fueling his drive to have more experience, more by just going hardcore into sales, and now he is like worth $300 million. So he has just this seeking thrill, and always the next one, the next one. He has, at least this is way how he portrays it, beat his addiction by just going relentlessly after something that is positive in the long term for him. So I found that quite intriguing, because he left the mental health, like the sobriety clinic, and the counselors were like to him, okay, I mean, most people come back here, but Grant Cardone just said, okay, I'm never coming back. I'm just fueling my energy into something else. And I mean, sure, you could then be arguing maybe he got addicted to work or whatever, but after all, he has found a positive mode of self-expression that is also contributing something positive to the world, and that's quite valuable. And yeah, I really appreciate you also getting into podcasting. So I also haven't done research on you, Scott. If I may ask, what channels are you active on? What is your attempt to destigmatize mental health?
Yeah, I mean, I'm everywhere that I can afford to put myself right now. There's really good websites out there that throw my podcast out on like Apple and Spotify and Google and all those things. I wrote a lot of my beginning podcast ideas when I was in jail, dealing with some of the repercussions of my choices while I was drinking. And being in jail and seeing the stigma that these guys were, and the mental health issues these dudes had, that were actually, for the most part, pretty decent people. They didn't have the help that they needed. They didn't have, there was no pathway for them to be like, oh, okay, when I get out of here, this is what I'm going to do to better myself. A combination of lost hope and the system chewing them up and spitting them out had created this, revolving door of there's nothing I can do about it. And that's why when I see people like yourself that are trying to make these things more affordable and more accessible, it really gets me excited. Just like the gentleman you're speaking of with the, getting that dopamine from getting that next sale. I get dopamine from having a chance to see somebody get some help, to have people on the podcast and share their story, because, when I chose to be as authentic as I can and tell everything about it. So my whole story is out on the web right now. And like you said, a place for people to feel comfortable. I try to share when I'm having a bad day. I try to get out and talk about it. When I'm doing a podcast, whether I'm doing it with friends or solo, and I'm like, I could drink today. That it kind of sounds like a good idea. I want to talk about it. I'm not going to drink. I'm going to find a way to get it because I'm far enough down the road of recovery where I know that's not a bad idea, or that is a bad idea. But I want to, because we can't ignore it. And I think that's what like a lot of people do. They have these feelings and they want to get help, but there's no help. So they ignore it and they push it down farther and farther and farther and farther until it eats them alive. And that's what happened to me. And that's what turned me into a heavy drinker, an alcoholic for 20 years.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I understand how it has developed for you, but as you mentioned, I think you found a very good way of putting yourself out there and also your emotions and not holding anything back by just posting it on social media. And I also believe in that if you are just radically honest to yourself and you put yourself out there, it's a way of regulating yourself and your emotions, and you just do not turn to the bottle, or you do not turn to violence, or you do not turn to depression or anxiety. All those negative mental health consequences, they just stem from people suppressing their emotions and not finding an adequate way to express them. And therefore, it is important to find a mode of self-expression. Obviously, there are some mental health issues that are not so much related to it, but quite a few of them. And yeah, therefore, it's really good to put yourself out there and to confront yourself with your own emotions. That's great.
Yeah, and as you said, the guy getting into sales, that might be another addiction. Well, I believe that everybody has some sort of addiction of something, you know, um, but there's healthy ones and then there's destructive ones. And gosh darn it, going out there and making sales and becoming worth $300 million is a pretty healthy freaking addiction. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Wanting to help others, that's a healthy one. Crocheting, cooking, those type of things. Those are all healthy things. It's for me, he has a purpose now, and I think the opposite of addiction that I've found is connection, and connection is purpose. So he's found a connection to these sales and doing these things. I've found a connection to the people that are in the recovery community and doing these podcasts. And it's given me purpose. I didn't have purpose in my addiction. I had no idea where my life was going. I had no idea what the path of drunkenness was going to lead me to, other than the next bottle. And then all of a sudden, I'd found some help that I needed, and that's all I needed. I just finally needed somebody to open a door for me or to shine a light down a pathway that I couldn't see, and here we go. And that's why people like yourself and the people that you're working with and what you're doing, I feel is so super important.
Yeah, definitely, because you are talking about a very central theme here, not only like being authentic to yourself and being honest with yourself, seeing your emotions, but also finding a true purpose in life. And I feel like a lot of people that got addicted were not able to find their purpose yet. And it's one contributing factor why they got addicted. But like traditional psychology maybe struggles with this a little bit, because it's just like, yeah, they try to measure what is measurable, like the heritage, if the father was addicted or if you have other mental health issues. But like having a deep meaning, like a life vision of yourself, I believe just makes people less prone to addiction, because they know why they are going through their suffering, and they know that there's something worthwhile to pursue. And when they really want to pursue it and maximize this, most people realize pretty quickly that taking drugs, alcohol, smoking is just not contributing to their pursuit of something meaningful.
Yeah. Um,
So
yeah. Yeah. What you had talked about, and sorry, kind of, if I'm jumping around here,
no
but
worries.
you had talked about the regulatory problems. I know that there's rules and regulations and things that you have to follow. I don't need you to go into detail, but there's obviously going to be roadblocks when you're trying to do something worldwide, because I know here in the States, if there's somebody that if I have a friend that lives in a state next door to me and they have they have a really good therapist, or they have a really good counselor, psychiatrist, I can't just go see them because my insurance doesn't cross state lines. Is there something that you guys are doing to help be able to alleviate that?
Well, we do it in the sense that we are getting mental health care services at a cheaper rate, but we ensure the quality at the same time. So, for example, someone from Nigeria giving therapy to someone in the US. And sure, a lot of people now might argue that it is now taking away capacities from people in the third world. But on the other hand, we are looking at people from the first world, therapists also giving pro bono therapy.
Okay.
And sure, like therapists are overworked, they have too many demands, but at the end of the day, if someone is saying, okay, we have an opportunity to even educate people in the third world, to give therapy there online and also travel there, potentially educating others what can be done about mental health. It will just have a network effect itself. And also with the AI we are developing, it's about making therapy, like ensuring that therapists have less work in a way,
Sure.
because a lot of requests that mental health care professionals get are just out of life circumstances, let's say. So, for example, someone that has read about ADHD and for like 2 days, and they've just gone down that rabbit hole on the internet, and then they've taken some drugs at the same time, and all of a sudden they believe they have ADHD. So it's about filtering down when care is really needed. This is what the AI is really all about. But also by taking people seriously, you still have to take them seriously and not downplaying it. But
Sure.
this is just our attempt to prioritize people in mental health. And I think a lot of counselors struggle with this because they don't know what's happening if someone is writing a mail, if they are just being super emotional, or how true is it. So it's also about digitizing diagnostics to a certain extent. And
Oh my God.
I mean, there are solutions like that already, but our approach is all about interconnectedness, because we have online therapy, we have data analytics, and we have AI development, and all of them are interconnected. And yeah, so
dude, the AI is the AI is going to be so freaking helpful, because I look at, like, I do recovery coaching for a living, so I'm certified here in the state to be a recovery coach, and the amount of paperwork and things that I have to do behind the scenes is not near what the therapists have to do. So what people don't understand, that clogs that clogs things up quite a bit, because for every assessment that a therapist does, for every individual therapy session, with the insurances and the regulations and the paperwork that, excuse me, that they have to fill out, they spend an hour with you, and now they spend an hour doing paperwork. And so I think AI is going to be a tremendous help in help alleviating some of that stuff, and that alone is going to open up doors. So the fact that you guys are using AI, I mean, I go and I talk to Grok on X, and that thing's like I'm talking to a real person, man. AI is unbelievable right now. It really is. And the fact that you guys are going to utilize that, that's just fascinating.
Yeah, thanks a lot. I mean, we are doing whatever we can, and it's not so much about taking like work away from people with AI.
Oh.
I think in mental health care, a lot of people get this concept because it's about making everyone suffer less from their mental health issues. And I mean, even therapists admit that there are oftentimes certain patterns that certain individuals fall into, and therefore an AI is just really, really trainable. And it is trainable because there's a big community behind it, which we are planning to build. And obviously, the data is going to be anonymized. This is our highest priority because it's a sensitive issue, obviously.
Yeah, it can be. I hope it doesn't stay that way, though. Like the assessments that you do when you go in for your first treatment with the therapist, I could see AI handling that, because, like you said, there are pathways. But maybe I'm jumping the gun on that. You know what I mean? But
well, I think one has to differentiate between like what people are willing to put out there. And I mean, obviously, like the individual, they can feel free to share whatever they want, like people. Sure. And then on the other hand, you should be looking at how we as a business are proceeding with the data. And obviously this is going to be anonymized to train the AI and also to provide research data for like clinical medical research. So
Awesome. So what can we do to help you out? Is there anything that we can do to help you out right now?
well, our main channel of growth of posting online is Twitter, x.com, and we are quite active there, posting every day. I really believe in the future of the platform, which is why I chose it to begin with. And it would be great if you could leave a follow on there. And gradually we'll be getting into more channels. You know, we have secured the domain. I have opened up an Instagram, Facebook, Threads account, so on and so forth. But you know, we are a young startup with one IT founder, me as a marketing sales founder. We have one advisor, investor, and one IT programmer, and so we are basically like 4 people. So it's not like I can be doing social media day in day out. But I'm looking really to grow it. So yeah, like I said, it would be great if you could just hop on Twitter and follow us on x.com, or like on Instagram you can also find us, but I haven't been able to post there with such a regular basis.
Yeah, Instagram's got more people on it, I think, but it's harder to use. But yeah, X has really helped me grow. So if you are listening to this and you like the podcast, please give them. Who are they looking for? They're looking for you, and what else are they looking for when they're going for that follow and that sub? Leo?
Can you please repeat the question? I didn't quite get what you.
Sure. They're looking for your account, and what was the name of your?
Oh yeah. Beyond_you_net on Twitter. Yes.
Right on. So that's what you're looking for when you're looking on X to like and subscribe. So looks like we have some good rate recovery conversations going on in the chat. So that's pretty cool. If anybody has any questions here as we start to wind up with Leo, please feel free to ask. Anything else, Leo, that you wanted to add about what you guys are doing before we take any questions, if there are any?
Well, sure. I mean, right now we're also actively looking for investors. So we want to expand really fast. Like I said, it's about interconnection of different services. And so if anyone is particularly interested, any VC, any startup investor, feel free to hit me up. You can find me online, Leo Costas. Also, I will be launching YouTube soon, giving regular updates on building the business and giving insights about behind the scenes of BeyondYou.net. So stay tuned for that.
Beyond You. Yeah, and if anybody has a hard time finding Leo and what he's doing, just reach out to me and I'll direct you over to him. I really think this is a great thing. Anytime anybody's willing to put something out there and put the hard work in behind the scenes to try to get people help, it's going to save lives. It really is. If my podcast, if I can get feedback from people saying, I really liked what you're saying, you opened my eyes to a couple things. If my little podcast can do this, then this will absolutely help people. So thank you so much, Leo, for coming on, man, and talking a little bit about it. Let's do it again after launch if you want, and you can kind of let us know how things are going.
Oh, yeah, definitely. I would love to be there again. It was really fun talking with you. Very inspiring, Scott. Thanks a lot for having me.
Yeah. Take care, Leo, man. It was so great. And everybody, thanks for listening, and we'll see you on the next one.
See you soon. Bye-bye, Scott.
Bye-bye.